I'm not quite sure what the main event of the Royal Rumble 2015 is going to be. You've got an awfully big World Heavyweight Championship match, and you've got the Royal Rumble itself. I'm going to be guessing that the Royal Rumble is going to be the main event, seeing who's going to be going to WrestleMania and fighting the winner of the championship match. Who knows? We might get another title change either on Monday Night Raw with the Seth Rollins cash-in. We might get a title change at the Fastlane pay-per-view, but more than likely the winner of the Royal Rumble title match is going to be fighting the winner of the Royal Rumble itself. So I think first you must talk about the World Heavyweight Championship match. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena is easily the biggest rivalry that each one of these competitors has had. No one has been able to come in to the WWE and manhandle John Cena the way that Brock Lesnar has. Past, present, or future. You go back to Brock's debut, or maybe you might even call it his return, coming back to WWE after his historic UFC run. He came back the night after WrestleMania 28 on Monday Night Raw, coming down. I don't know what John Cena thought Brock Lesnar was going to do. If he was going to walk down and shake his hand and thank him for carrying the ball in WWE after he left in 2000. And 2004 after WrestleMania 20. But John Cena held his ground. 8 and F5, and they were on for Extreme Rules for there. It took them a long time to get them back into the ring again. Of course, Triple H giving Brock Lesnar the #1 contendership to fight John Cena at SummerSlam. John barely got any offense in that match at all. As Brock delivered the 16 German suplexes, left John battered and bruised. But John was able to get up, scrape himself off, get back into the weight room and try and find that dark place that was going to put him over the top for the rematch at Night of Champions. At Night of Champions, it looked like Cena had Brock's number. I believe he was delivering his third, maybe his fourth FU of the night on Brock. And as he was about to get that pin, Seth Rollins came in and delivered a shot to John Cena, causing the disqualification for Brock to get the win. And for Brock to run out of the WWE into hiding with the WWE Championship. But first, he ate a curb stomp from Seth Rollins. Lucky for us, John Cena was able to stop the Money in the Bank cash-in by holding on to Rollins. Before the match could start, Brock got to leave and go on his hiatus, run into hiding for months. He was gone from September all the way until basically December. With no title in sight, making Seth Rollins' Money in the Bank briefcase pretty much worthless. As we went from there, John Cena fought with Dean Ambrose over who was going to get the chance to fight Seth Rollins at the Hell in the Cell. But they found a separate consolation prize. Cena was able to fight Randy Orton to be the #1 contender for the shot against Brock Lesnar, whenever that would be. They made it almost seem like it was going to be the next month at Survivor Series, but then we had to hold off a little bit longer so Seth Rollins could have a shot at John Cena at TLC in what would be the #1 contendership match for real this time. And John was able to get that win as well, thanks to Roman Reigns making his return. But due to the Authority disappearing after the Survivor Series, Seth Rollins was rewarded by finding a way to make John Cena bring back the Authority. And for that, Triple H gave Seth Rollins the #1 contendership without cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase. He didn't pull Hernandez in TNA, cashing in the Feast or Fired, making a fatal 4-way into a 5-way. Basically, he's in the match, he's get the shot at the championship, and he's still the Money in the Bank guy to go from there. From here, this is going to shape WrestleMania, like I said. There's the odds-on favorite of Brock Lesnar going up against Roman Reigns. Some people think it might be, John Cena against Roman Reigns. I've heard rumblings of Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan. One way or another, the World Heavyweight Championship match is going to be contended. It's going to be the table's going to be set by this match. Brock Lesnar honestly, in my mind, he does look good with the championship. It is, good to have on a poster that Brock Lesnar is going to be there. I think that when WWE brought in Brock from UFC, they thought that he was going to be an easy pay-per-view sale. People were used to buying a UFC pay-per-view every few months, and Brock Lesnar, when he fought on UFC pay-per-view, set records, pushing them. Everybody can remember how big UFC 100 was with him in the main event. And I think he really did. I think that the Extreme Rules pay-per-view is one of the best Extreme Rules shows they've ever done. I think that when you put him on, WrestleMania 29 against Triple H, when you put him on WrestleMania 30 going up against The Undertaker, you had memorable matches and memorable feuds, both of them for different reasons. Everyone will always remember Brock Lesnar beating Undertaker and beating the WrestleMania streak, becoming the 1-21-1. And I think at least I'll always remember how bad the Triple H versus Brock Lesnar feud was, and just saying, I wish this feud was over. I wish this feud never happened. It makes no sense, especially with Triple H being the man who shook Paul Heyman's hand. I looked at that as, Paul Heyman being the devil, and Triple H, making a deal with the devil, and basically bringing in Brock Lesnar. And I knew that once he won the championship from John Cena, the belt would go into hiding. It would be a lot like when Brock went home with the New Japan World Heavyweight Championship, and just basically New Japan had to go and basically steal the title back because Brock wouldn't go lose the title for New Japan, and they had a historic championship and they wanted to make sure that it returned. I thought that maybe that would be, another Brock versus Triple H match where, at least Triple H had to send somebody to get Brock and bring him to WrestleMania so somebody could beat him and regain their championship, because everybody knows that the contract that Brock Lesnar signed, it was only for so many dates, it was for only so many matches, and especially with WWE taking a huge step back from pay-per-view with the WWE Network. No complaints here. I've thought that the WWE Network is a great bargain for me. And I think for everybody else, you went from having to pay, $50 a month to watch these pay-per-views to, only having to pay $10 a month now to getting, 24 hours of network coverage from just about everything. And they figured out how to do breaking news specials. Today there was the WrestleMania 32 announcement for Dallas. There was the Macho Man into the Hall of Fame. There was the Roman Reigns injury. So slowly but surely they're really figuring this thing out. But for $10 to pay, for just this match alone is going to be great. Seth Rollins really lucking out, getting into another main event after main eventing the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view against Dean Ambrose. Of course, there was no real winner in that match with Bray Wyatt coming in and, the hologram and him beating up Dean Ambrose when it looked like Dean was about to get the win. But he really is taking a huge step forward from the time when he was in the Shield, and by the time the Shield broke up and disintegrated, he was sort of that guy that was in the background. And when the Shield first came into WWE, I said that I was a Roman Reigns fan because everybody talked about how great Tyler Black was in ROH. People talked about Dean Ambrose and how great he was when he wrestled on the independent shows before getting into the developmental, and I was just like, everybody's forgetting about this guy, so I'm going to sort of jump onto his bandwagon and see how far I can ride. It ended up being that Roman Reigns looked like he's going to be the biggest star of them all, but in the last two Shield versus Evolution matches, I really loved how Seth Rollins was the guy that was taking all the risks, him jumping off the top of the Jumbotron onto the members of Evolution down below, and I really liked how he was the architect of the Shield. He was the guy that seemed to be keeping them together, like he was the glue that kept Roman and Dean Ambrose from fighting for all those months. So here he is. My pick for this has always been that John Cena is going to get the win. I think that Cena, becoming the champion, it takes the title off of Brock. It puts less pressure on Brock going into WrestleMania, where you can have some sort of a dream match. You can have The Rock show up and do the Brock versus Rock match that's been talked about for 2 years. You can do Brock versus Roman Reigns, and it won't really be like, Roman becoming the WWE champion. It'll just be him getting a big win and beating a big guy that people will remember for a long time. You could do, Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins one-on-one, which seems like they want to beat the hell out of each other right now. There's a lot of possibilities you can do with Brock Lesnar. You could even bring back Undertaker and do, the rematch for last year at WrestleMania 30, where Undertaker avenges his loss, gets to end his career with the big win over Brock Lesnar. Vince McMahon gets his jollies off by basically beating the guy that's going to go back to UFC and make all sorts of money fighting in dream matches over there. Cena being the main eventer for WWE always is, the peanut butter spread on the peanut butter and jelly. It makes them, at their best when he's there. People can complain all they want to about John Cena not being a great wrestler, but John Cena is the guy that has been the flag bearer for this company for years. And when he's on top, you always know that the show is going to be better one way or another. I know that you do need to, recreate stars, but that's one of the reasons why Seth Rollins has the Money in the Bank briefcase. We all know that Brock Lesnar is probably not going to wrestle at Fastlane, but hey, Seth Rollins is going to be there. You can do John Cena versus Seth Rollins in a one-on-one match. This is a match that a lot of people have been waiting to see on a pay-per-view for a long time. I know that they've had countless matches on Monday Night Raw, but we've never seen it, on a real dramatic stage like on a pay-per-view. Even if it is Fastlane, you got to have a main event, and at least the matches on Raw have always been good. My pick in this match is John Cena. I know that the match is going to be great, and that's the one thing that you can rely on for WWE pay-per-views.